Hello sewing and crafting friends. Today I want to show you how I take heavy duty packing tape and my favorite photos and turn them into these beautiful transparent bookmarks, great for gift giving. This is a photo of my grandchildren and I turned it into a bookmark using packing tape and contact paper. And I take the photo with the packing tape and I turn this photo right here into a beautiful transparent bookmark. See how it looks in the book? It's so pretty. I love everything that's white. Everything that's white in the picture will turn clear. It's so pretty. It makes beautiful thin bookmarks so they will not damage your books. So let's get started and I'll show you just how easy this is. When you print your photos, you must print them on a laser printer. So I went to Office Depot and had mine printed, or you can go to UPS and they will print it, and they can also change your photo into the size that you want, but that will cost extra. I did mine on Canva and then took them over there to print them out. But I'll have a video later on showing exactly the different options you have for changing your photo into this size. But the key is you must print it on a laser printer. Inkjet will not work. So here are some photos I printed. That's my daddy when he was in the service. And I did some photos of my grandkids, and this is a little bag I sewed and with my flowers, and I added some little teacups. You can also do get yours from magazines. And I took a piece of paper and just cut out the size of my bookmark, and that way I can place it in the magazine and see if I like this for a bookmark. And I love pink flowers, so I think I'm going to do this pink flower. And some magazines work better than others. The better quality the magazine, the better it will come out, because some inks will rub off and some will stay and make the bookmarks. So it's kind of trial and error, but I know the nicer the magazine, the nicer the paper, the nicer your bookmarks will come out. And the next key thing is your supply list. You're going to definitely need heavy duty, and I want to say it again, you have to have heavy duty packing tape, and make sure it's clear, crystal clear, heavy duty packing tape. And then you're going to need some clear, matte, transparent contact paper. I got this at the Dollar Tree. It looks like this. You can use the one from the Dollar Tree or wherever you want to purchase it. Just clear, transparent contact paper. And you'll need a rotary cutter and a fabric cutting ruler. And I use this one specifically for paper and cutting vinyl. I don't use this for fabric at all. This is just for other crafts. So you'll need this for cutting, and a bone folder or something similar to this. Okay, to get started, take your photo that you had printed from a laser printer. And it must be laser printer, and I like to take a little bit of tape and just to hold it in place so it doesn't move when I'm trying to put the packing tape on. And then I take my packing tape and I line it up like so, and then I slowly go across it like that, and laying the tape down on my picture as I go, smoothing it with my hand so there's no bubbles, no air bubbles. And then I just take and cut this off. And a little trick I have is to fold over just a little bit like this, and that way it doesn't stick on itself and it's easy to find the next time you use it. So there's that, and then you just take your bone folder and just smooth it out to make sure it gets attached completely to the packing tape. And now I'm going to do the next one. Okay, after we get the tape on, then just trim this off. Don't cut into the tape on this side. Just trim off some of the paper. It's okay if you trim this, because we're not going to make it, we're going to be trimming this out exactly on that photo. So I'm just going to trim this off a little bit, and we're going to take this and we're going to place it in some water. I picked up this little plastic bin from the Dollar Tree, and I use these specifically just for my crafts. I don't use these in the kitchen or anything. These ones are just for my crafts, especially when I make my bookmarks. And so now we have the packing tape on top of the printed photo, and now we're just going to put it in water and let that soak. Okay, after I let these soak for an hour or so, I just let mine soak overnight. It's up to you. You can just get them wet for about an hour and then start taking off the paper. I'm going to start with one of my photographs that I took. I'll start with this one and just turn it paper side up, and you just kind of take your finger and rub off. Let me move this over. Take your finger and just gently rub off the paper. See, the paper's coming off, but the ink is staying. Comes off pretty easily. You can just wet your fingers again and keep wiping it off. I normally do this beside the sink so that as I'm taking off the paper, I can run it under the water to get the remaining little residue of paper off. But for now, I'm just going to kind of dip it in this water for now. But I would do this on the counter next to my sink so then I can rinse it under the faucet. But see, that one's already done. Look at how easy. I let this soak overnight. I think it's a little easier if you let it soak overnight. But if you're in a hurry, you can do it right away too. It's up to you. But this just came off so easy. I just need to rinse it off a little more to get that little bit of residue of paper off. And then when I rinse it under the sink like this, then I will just lay it on a towel or paper towels. If you could see this. So I lay it wrong side up. So this part here is eventually going to be sticky again after it dries. Then lay it down here upside down to dry. Wrong side up. I'm using this tray just to keep the mess all contained and not get it all over my cutting table. But you can just do this on the counter. So then you just keep taking off all the paper. Look at how transparent that is. You can see through it, see the words through it. But it looks really pretty in the book. So just let these dry. And when they're dry, I'm going to show you the next step to make these into a complete bookmark. You can't just let this dry and use it, because once it dries, this back part becomes sticky again. But I'm going to show you how I figured out to take care of that part. I learned the, this photo transfer technique. A lot of people use this in art by transferring photos with packing tape into their art projects. And when I was doing that, I'm like, this would make a great bookmark this size. So I just had to figure out what to put on the back, and I'm going to show you that next. Okay, while our bookmarks are drying, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to use this, it's called shelf and drawer liner. It's basically like a clear, transparent contact paper. And I got this at Dollar Tree. And I'm going to cut this a little bit bigger than each bookmark. And this is what I'm going to use to go on the back, so it'll still be transparent, but it won't be sticky. And I have been experimenting for the past year trying to find different ways to do this, and this is the best way that I've found to do it. I can cut it 3 inches by 8 inches. So I'm going to cut a strip that's 8 inches. There, got my 8 inches. And then I'm going to cut these into 3-inch strips. There. And I got enough to make 6. Okay, after these have dried, and they're going to be sticky. See how sticky they are on the back? Now we're going to just take one at a time, and we're going to lay it here out on our mat. And to kind of hold it in place, I'm just going to tape the very edge, because we're going to cut off this clear part, because it's not part of the bookmark. I'm just going to use this to hold it in place like that, so it doesn't move when we're trying to put the back on. There. Tape that edge, and then we're going to take the clear contact paper that I cut, and we're going to remove the back paper from the vinyl like this. And try not to touch it with your finger so you don't get fingerprints. And we're going to turn it around like this. And I'm going to just place this at the top of the bookmark and smooth it as I pull the paper. And just keep smoothing it all the way down. Now the back is covered with this clear vinyl. And I like to just take a bone folder just to make sure it's nice and smooth and there's no bubbles in it. And then I just take my rotary cutter and just trim out the bookmark. Come down here and trim it right where the bookmark is. And there you go. You have a beautiful bookmark. And it's not sticky on either side now. And it's nice and clear and transparent and beautiful, and the colors just shine so pretty. And it's nice and thin so it won't damage your book. We're all done. Here I'm going to show you some bookmarks that I made using magazines. I love, this was my favorite one, using the sky, and the sun and the clouds are clear so you can see the writing through there. It's so pretty. And this one, this magazine didn't work out so well, but even if it didn't, it still looks like a beautiful abstract watercolor painting. Even though some of the paint came off, it still came out beautiful. So just try different magazines to see which ones work. Some work better than others. It's kind of trial and error. This is the one with the little fairy door. This one had the word dream that I love. This was cute with little tennis shoes. And here's another one with flowers. These are all from photographs. I took a picture of a watercolor painting I did with the sunset and the water. And another one I took of my quilt and added words to it. The one where I took a picture of my quilt and added words using Canva. And a photo I took of my daughter with her new book and her dog. And when I tried to shrink it down, it didn't quite work, so I had to add some blue and added words on the bottom to make it the length of a bookmark. And I'm going to have a video coming out next week showing how to use Canva to resize your photos and add text like this. That video will be out next week in case you don't know how to resize your photos and add text to them to make them this size. And you can use the free version of Canva to do it. So that video will be out next week. If you have any questions, comment below and I'll try to answer them. Have fun making these for gifts for people. This is such a great gift. I love giving this with a little book or something, and people just love them because they're personalized and you can do whatever photographs that you want to use. So have fun making these. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have a so blessed day. Bye for now. And I do these for gifts. So I found this one, and when I used my little template, I just thought that would be adorable with that little like fairy door and the beautiful flowers. Or you could do this and just get the flowers with some purple flowers. It's all up to you. I'm going to do that. So I'm going to take out my magazine page up and put a little piece of tape where I'm not going to use it for the bookmark, so it won't be in my way. I'm just going to tape this down. Get my packing tape, and I'm going to line that up to try to make sure I can get that door in. I did that. Oh, did I miss it? Barely. That's why I wish the packing tape people would make wider packing tape. It would make my life so much easier. I wish they would make it like 3 or 4 inches wide. Would be fantastic. Okay, then we'll be sure to capture everything we needed. So that's the only tricky part with this, is trying to line it up, but I think I got it. So, and just do your bone folder like this to make sure we get it all the way attached to the tape. Leave a little extra so when we trim that, it'll be nice and even. And then just take off the excess paper, but don't cut up to the tape. Leave some paper on the edge of the tape. You can see that, because it'll just dissolve in the water anyway. Just to make it a little smaller. And we'll go put this in the water.